Thank you, Glenn, for sharing your story, and one which many others have gone through in a similar vein, and it's not a small number of Australians. And I think we need to ask, is this acceptable when we have the tools and levers for change? Moving through the program, we have another video presentation. This is from Dr. Bronwyn King AO. Bronwyn King is pleased to be working with the Burnet Institute, the University of Melbourne and many other partners to help advance Australia's progress on indoor air quality, building on lessons from Australia's world-leading approach to tobacco control. She has convened a series of the initial parliamentary roundtables and led the development of new collaborations and partnerships amongst a broad range of stakeholders from academia, advocacy, industry, business and government. Bronwyn's video she'll be speaking from a perspective of a clinician. She is a radiation oncologist and physician by training.
Thank you so much for having me at this event today. I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but I'm absolutely there in spirit, and it's great to have the opportunity to present to you remotely. First of all, I'd also like to pay my respects to the traditional owners of the land on which this conference is being held, the Ngunnawal and Ngambri people, and I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. By way of introduction, my name is Bronwyn King. I'm a radiation oncologist by background. I'm now retired. And in recent years, I've spent a huge amount of my time devoted to improving indoor air quality. I, during the pandemic, really saw the huge gap that we have in our public health infrastructure in Australia, in that we don't have indoor air quality standards. And rather than seeing that as a problem, I want to view it as an opportunity. It's a great opportunity that offers profound benefits for the community, a very broad spectrum of people in the community. Everybody wins if the air is clean and safe and healthy. And I've been delighted to work with Burnet Institute for the past 3 or 4 years on this issue. The reason I'm here today is to have an opportunity to tell you about a global initiative that I was very pleased to be part of just recently, that took place in New York at United Nations headquarters. Over the past 3 or 4 years, I've been so pleased to meet with fantastic indoor air quality advocates, champions, experts from all around the world. And it's been so heartening and has filled me with hope and optimism to know that there are so many fantastic people out there working so hard to really address this issue, to make our leaders aware of the importance of this issue and how many people are currently affected by poor indoor air quality. And so at the end of last year, I was very pleased to meet a terrific leader in this space, Dr. Georgia Lagoudis from the Brown University Pandemic Centre. And I found out that she previously worked for the Biden administration and had been one of the conveners of the 2022 White House Summit on indoor air quality. And she's a real mover and shaker, has a lot of energy and a fantastic network. And so with her, I was very pleased to co-convene an event that took place in New York in September just gone to raise awareness of indoor air quality. We called the event Healthy Indoor Air, a global call to action. At the start, it was really just a logo from Burnet and a logo from the Brown University Pandemic Centre that started it off. But by the time we got to New York, we had over 300 attendees in the room. We had over 20 speakers, and we launched on the day the Global Pledge for Healthy Indoor Air. And at the time of the launch, we were thrilled to welcome 165 organisations. So it was a bit of a change from just 2 logos to go way up to 165. And it was wonderful to see so much energy in the room, so many people, so many organisations, all on board, all calling for the same thing. We were also very pleased to welcome the government of France and the government of Montenegro as the first 2 countries in the world to sign that global pledge. And some people say, oh, it's just a pledge, it's not legislation, maybe it's not really important. But for me, I think that there's huge symbolism in signing a document like that. it shows great leadership. It encourages other countries, other organisations to follow on. And the spirit of the pledge is to really acknowledge people and countries and organisations where they are, see them where they are, and acknowledge it's a journey to get to clean indoor air. There are many steps ahead. The pledge specifies 6 specific lenses through which one might look at the issue of indoor air quality. And I would argue that each individual one of them is enough to call for action on indoor air quality alone, but put together, all 6 of them really do compel us to take this action. So the first lens is the human right lens. So it's a basic human right that we should be able to breathe clean, fresh air wherever we are, and we spend 90% of our time indoors, so that makes sense that we would have the right to breathe clean, fresh air. And in fact, at the UN in 2022, there was a proposal adopted that stated that every single person on the planet has the right to a clean and healthy environment, and that includes clean air. The second lens is health itself, health in the short term and health in the long term. We know that there are a myriad of illnesses and diseases caused by poor quality air, and if you don't have health, you don't really have anything. Nothing else matters. So health in itself is a really important lens. The third one we look at is pandemic preparedness. Obviously, everybody had a major shock during 2020 and 2021. There was lockdown, there were countries cut off from one another, businesses shut, transport stopped, all of these things happened. Yet if our buildings, our built environment had have been more prepared with indoor air quality standards already set and for those environments to be safe, we would have had a much smoother pandemic experience. We would have been able to withstand the shock without those catastrophic impacts on our communities, including economic impacts, business impacts, and of course, health impacts themselves. Another lens is climate resilience. The world's getting hotter and hotter. There are going to be more bushfires, more smoke in the external air, and that smoke and pollution just comes straight into indoor environments. People are also going to spend even more time indoors as the outdoor temperatures get hotter and hotter. So climate resilience is a very important thing in itself. Then let's look at safe work. It's not disputed in Australia that all workplaces should be safe for employees and for the people who frequent those buildings or those institutions. And we would argue that it's time to extend and explicitly extend those safe workplace standards to indoor air quality. And I was delighted to see that Safe Work Australia has in fact uplifted their model code of care for the healthcare sector for the first time ever, stating that healthcare providers are in fact obliged to ensure that their workers are not exposed to biological hazards, and airborne pathogens, airborne diseases are specified as being amongst those biological hazards that healthcare workers should be protected against. So we really look forward to further development of that concept in Australia, but globally this is also not disputed. And at our event, we were very happy to welcome a speaker from the International Labour Organization who spoke to that point. And the sixth, but maybe the most important lens, certainly for this event today, is the lens of making sure that spaces are accessible for all and are designed so that they can care for all people. And to call out Plum at the conference in New York, in fact, I think you delivered my favourite quote, which was that the same air has different consequences for different people. And that shouldn't be the case. We should make sure that the air is safe for everyone. In our communities, we have elderly people, we have very young people, we have people with a whole range of comorbidities, including heart disease, lung diseases like asthma. We have people with diabetes, we have people with cancer, we have people who are immunocompromised or who suffer from a whole range of chronic conditions. And when you start to add that up, and then you think of all the people who live with people with those conditions, it's almost every single one of us. that is somehow connected to someone who needs extra attention when it comes to the air quality that they breathe. So this is a really, really important lens for us to think about. And as a radiation oncologist, I know I'm retired, but for 25 years, I would send my patients with cancer to hospital for all sorts of reasons, needing extra care. And to do that today would be very worrying, because by and large, my patients are immunocompromised. They're having cancer treatment. And to send them to an emergency department where there aren't airborne controls, specific controls to protect people for airborne disease, that is a gap. And it's a gap that we definitely need to close. So to wrap it up, the reason I'm not here in person is because I'm in Brazil and I'll be attending the COP30 meeting. So it's a climate conference, a global climate conference. And I'm very pleased that I'll be presenting an event there on indoor air quality, trying to find some new leaders and champions from all over the world to help advance this cause. And finally, when we're in New York, we also launched a new initiative called Air Club. Our symbol is this little canary, and I have sent a special messenger to Canberra, so hopefully anyone who would like a canary can get one. Air Club is for everyone who is involved in indoor air quality. The idea was to create some global solidarity so that we can all feel a bit more connected. We can share our learnings, share what's going well and what's not, and really stand in solidarity with each other as we try to approach this global issue as best we can. And finally, to the MPs and senators in the room, thank you for coming, thank you for your interest, and we really look forward to ongoing engagement and continuing to work together in Australia to ultimately see an Australia where indoor air quality is safe for everyone, everywhere. Thank you.